victory, perhaps even more convincing. Just your thoughts on overall performance of players.
Not convincing per se, so honestly speaking. There's nothing as bad as conceding a goal. And coming from a background of a defender, a goal has to be beautiful, must not be careless. You're leading 2-0. It looks like you can gain confidence and build on that and play with more freedom and bravery to try put a bigger print on what you're trying to build. And then all of a sudden you concede a goal. And the way we conceded the goal was not right. It's a corner, the ball gets overfloated, second phase it comes across, then it gets played in an offside position, then a tap in. Even the guy who played the ball was shocked that the referee allowed the ball in. But whatever it is, goal 2-1, then you start to stress. Then you have to think along very thin lines, margins of error are less. But the beauty is that they scored the third, beautiful goal from Mhango. And I also felt to Tsehofatso Mabas, the guy is talented. He's something else. Any high ball coming to him, his holder play, controls the ball, brings the team closer, in and around the box. From Bloemfontein Celtics, when I worked with him, when he was still at youth, when he went to Orlando Pirates, and I'm saying, Tseho, but why is it that you what's lacking? He lacks nothing. And if one were to start thinking and saying, where do you want Mabasa to go? He's okay here. We are so extremely lucky to have him, because the next question would be, but wait a minute, you should be somewhere else. Somewhere else where? Maybe abroad. Because the guy has got finesse, he's got the right, and he's intelligent. He's an intelligent person. So he can handle a lot of dynamics. That as well. But what we're trying to fight for is to have a team that plays more as a unit, be more cohesive, with more confidence. Doesn't come easy. And up front as well, you want to see a Malinga clicking with a Mabasa, clicking with a Mhango, and also Zuma. He went in, but I felt Zuma is still playing at maybe 4 out of 10 of his potential and capacity. He needs to up and be about 5, 6, and then you'll get something out of it. And also the subs we made, I thought they had effect. But I must also be very honest and say Cape Town Spurs did give us a good game. They pushed us, they tested us, they asked a lot of questions through long balls, crosses, fighting and all that, where I think to an extent, the game was a bit, it had a lot of bruises for players. It was quite an intense game and very physical. And unfortunately, you have to deal with it when people are fighting for points and you're also fighting to establish your positions. This is what happens. But we are delighted with the victory.
International break, bittersweet, because you want that momentum.
Momentum, I remembered Sundowns last season. There was a heavy discussion on the word momentum. But the word is big as well, because even coming into this match, we were worried about, we had played in Polokwane, and then we did not play the Orlando Pirates match because of the CAF commitments, and then it gave us 10, 14 days of no action. When you come back now, you say, I wonder how are we going to perform. You were banking on the momentum of the win in Polokwane, and then Orlando Pirates, and then at least now. But we came through this one. Now you say you go into the FIFA week, 10 days at the back of victory. But going into FIFA calendar, it's always best to go with a victory, because it's a long period to be thinking of the negative results and so on. So you're building with a positive feel. Yes, momentum will be affected, but at least we have 3 points. We are on 7. We won a match, second in a row. We can start talking about that, and also just to deflect the momentum discussion or topic. But it does have effects.
Coach, I'm looking at, from where we were sitting, I was watching one Andile Jali. He celebrated more than the players on the field when the goals came in, and he hardly sat down. The camaraderie, the brotherhood that I see on this team, how did you get that right? Because let me be honest and frank, Coach, when you first had your Zuma, your Jali, your Mhango, and then the word was that Uzowenzana, I'm a bad boy. Just take us through that.
I didn't see that incident, but if it happened and one hears that, it's a beautiful thing to hear. But again, it further consolidates and it does a blow to the narrative of people labeling others. In my understanding, and I said this, I was at some press conference, I don't remember what press conference was that. I was fielding questions and I was asked the same question, Shaba. And I said to them, if you're dealing with a genius, at some point of their life, if the task is too simple, they start to look for something else, a distraction, then we call them delinquents. No, they are geniuses. AJ has amazing personality. You can't question that. Well, he might have issues with injuries or maybe get into top shape. And the guy is no more 22, 24, to be honest. But he still has the effect, he still has the energy, and he sees the game. He's a great influence in the dressing room. Gabadino, the same. You know his personality is aggressive. He wants to win. He pushes everybody, even the opponents. The goal we scored in Polokwane was purely out of his relentlessness. Again, today, the free kick he scores, what do you say about that? And by the way, he does that at training. Now, the camaraderie you're talking about should not only be something like a camouflage or just powder on a table that you can blow out. It must be deep and entrenched. It must be genuine. It's easy to fake stuff. If you look at how they celebrated the goal he scored, I did not even know. There's this thing with me and Mhango that I always make him do push-ups and all that. Even the first time I met him in Clegzop when I was still at Free State Stars, the first encounter was push-ups. When he scored, I'm sure he was playing for Celtic then. I was at another club. After he scored against me, he came to my bench and did push-ups, reminding me of the punishment I gave to him in Clegzop. I was shocked when everybody was doing push-ups after he scored. It was just a sea of white beds on the floor doing push-ups. It feels good. It's natural, it's spontaneous. It tells you that they are enjoying it. And I'm praying that it goes further, and it must be something that deals a blow to this narrative. Nekazuma. And let me pause before I go astray. What do you expect from a team if society is reflected in a team? If society is reflected in sports, expect a reflection of society in sport. If our society has got challenges of a particular caliber, expect those challenges in her sport. When Desmond Tutu said to you, you can never have a normal sport in an abnormal society, it is the same as you can never have an abnormal sport in a normal society. Society is reflected in her sport, on any sports. And how sports reflects society. Now let me paraphrase and come to what am I trying to say. When you find challenges in sports, you must take that microscopic reflection of those challenges and maybe scan through society and see if there are no similarities. You are likely to find similarities. So if we're complaining about these athletes, this and that, we have to look at ourselves and say, are we perfect? Are we at a level where our morality cannot be questioned? If we do not respond appropriately to those questions, we have no right then to question the behavior of our sports people. But we are not condoning that. We're saying they must be exemplary.
Coach, you and Coach Sean come a long way.
Big time.
And stuff. I'm going to correction, but you may have beaten him before as a coach and stuff like that. I'm not sure. What I'm trying to get at here is that he's in a very tight situation.
Yeah.
And it must, in as much as you must have enjoyed the 3 points, it must have been very difficult for you to push him deeper into a quagmire.
We come a long way with Sean. When he was still at Chiefs working and I was somewhere else, we still had that connection. Even from national teams, we have that connection. having campaigned abroad as well, we had that connection. And he's an associate, he's a close friend of mine. But unfortunately, could have been my dad, could have been my brother. On the other side, line of duty, there's a gesture that he portrayed and exchanged before the match. I was walking down the tunnel. Now, as you walk down the tunnel, there are some pillars where you can get behind the pillar and hide. So Calvin Mullen had walked, I was walking behind Calvin Mullen. He picked me up coming, because he was coming up, I was going down. And then he was hiding. Just as I was gonna go past him, he came out. You know what he said? He said, this is what happens to a striker when they see a defender. You don't get that. It's human beings behaving, but then it says to Steve, after the result, Sean is going through this period. It's not easy. PSL is a monster. It's difficult. Getting points here, getting wins or draws is a monster. So when he's going through that, you also remember, Steve, that listen, we are tied with this guy. We are buddies. We come a long way. He's a former player. I'm a former player. We interacted a lot long time ago. He even worked in an environment I worked with, could associate in many ways. But this time, be minimal. Just greet and go on and wish him well. The biggest message was to his players to say, never give up. Go ask them, never give up, never give up. It's the nature of sports. There has to be a win, there has to be a loss, or there has to be a draw. And unfortunately, as is, we are also desperate to leave a positive mark. Listen, I'm not safe either. I'm also new here. I'm a new kid on the block, so I have to make things look okay for Moroka Swallows. And I'm working for Moroka Swallows because we would wish to see more people here. When Orlando Pirates is playing at Orlando yesterday, you could love it. It's packed. When Kaizer Chiefs plays, it's packed. That's what we want to see. But that can only happen via win. It's a question of chicken and egg. Which one comes first? Do you win and then supporters come? Or they come and make you win? In this instance, you can't say, come, we want to win. You have to win and play a bit of an attractive way, something that will be appealing. Then they will start coming. If you had 10 today, they must tell another 10, it's 100, that 100, and then it's a snowball. That's what we're trying to do at Moroka Swallows. But it's not going to be an overnight thing. But I wish Sean the very best. I know he understands the game. He's got the pedigree. I just hope he gets enough chance, because even changing him, it may be a setback a bit. I'm not buying anybody time, but I'm just trying to be realistic with regards to the challenges that coaches face, hoping that he will come through, get a win here and there. Because I said to our team, at some point this team will have to win, and they can't lose all matches. In the season they're going to win, but hoping that it doesn't start with us. And I'm happy that we are over it, but I wish him well.
Yeah, Coach, Sean Bartlett was here. He was talking about the need to get strikers scoring goals in his team. You know, in your case, you've spoken glowingly about Zefo.
Yes.
You also have Mhango on target tonight.
Yes.
You know, how encouraging is it for a top man to be already on the road to goals? You know,
you can't equate to that. And I wish Sean could have given you the indication of what made him to score more goals. Strikers are like, it's like a drug. When they score, it invites more goals, because then they are more relaxed, confidence is high, and this thing just becomes an automatic action. Go to Fernando Torres. Torres was fire at some point. As soon as he moved to another club, then things were not the same. What happened to him? He's not the same player. All that, it's confidence. So when your strikers keep scoring, you have to keep giving them the same picture training, same feeling, and then it comes out in a match. So I'm happy that Mabasa is scoring, Mhango must score, Zuma must quickly come and score, KG must score. When they keep scoring, and I said to them, I had a small meeting with them before we came here. It was yesterday after training. I said to them, listen, if all four of you, each one of you can give us 10 goals, guys. It's just 10 goals, it's modest. Listen, already Gaba now is sitting on whatever free kick, and Polokwane 2. Seho is sitting on 2 today and all the 3. So then you say Zuma now was 40 goals in the Premier League. It will give you something. So the confidence has to be high, because a striker, If he's under stress or he's not confident, they miss the easiest of the chance. Striking is another position. It's got an element of chemistry in it. There has to be some energy that drives you, and it also invites luck. Sometimes you just come, you volley a ball, and then it touches the knuckle, it goes in. And then you tackle just for a tap in, it bounces. Luck as well. So I'm happy that luck is on their side, and they have to ride this wave.
Coach,
Yes,
something
sir.
that I noticed when you joined the club and the players that you brought in, most of them you worked with before. Is it a coincidence or intentional? And then secondly, on Shaba's thing, what exactly do you tell these players with bad reputation or perceived bad reputations? Is your final chance in the PSL, or what type of message do you give them?
I reflect my weaknesses. I'm no saint. I reflect my weaknesses. The only way that someone who's at a position of, who's not at the preferred position, the only way that they can come out of it is to show them that, listen, I'm also fallible, I'm human. I made a lot of mistakes. So when you reflect on your mistakes, it strengthens them. Let me cite an example. Let's say today, Zo writes an article about me. Yeah, Steve Komphela, we saw Steve Komphela doing this and this and this and the I'm depressed and I'm saying like, but Zo, hey, but anyway, I have to chin up and move on. The next day, then Mahlatse writes about somebody, about something even worse than what I went through. You know, that big mistake of that particular person is an inspiration to me. It gives me that, oh goodness me, there's people who are even worse. So you as a person who's working with people who've gone through things, show your vulnerability. You gotta show that, listen, I'm weak, I make mistakes, I'm human. And then the minute to take them to that level, then they accept their mistakes as mistakes and they can correct them. But if I come here like I'm a crystal clear guy, all this and that, I never make mistakes, you are depressing these folks. Now, luckily I've worked with them. I know all of them. Before you can work with a professional, you gotta understand the person. Because before they are a professional, they are a human being. So deal with a human being. The professional will thrive. Now, most of us are looking at working with the professional and you neglect the person. You can't, even at your workplace. The minute they treat you like a human being and not a stat, not a guy who submits unbelievable stories, they must understand that house family. Then when they know house family, or you said there was a wedding, who's getting married by your place? No man, my daughter, cousin, whatever. You know, you have a different perspective of your job because you understand that they have interest in you as a person than professional. But there's others, they don't even care. Whether there's somebody sick at your home or mommy has passed on, whatever, they want their job. You will be detached to those people because they are not attached to your person. They are attached to you as a professional. I get attached to players as a person. They must understand that I'm human. The professional will thrive. And yes, I worked with them at different levels. Not that I deliberately wanted to. They were available. But it takes me back to what is the value that you bring in an environment. When I came to Moroka Swallows and David Mokhasha and the people at Moroka Swallows said, okay, come work with us. Obviously, there's something that I must come along with. If you are employed and there's no value add from you, what is the use of your being employed there? My coming to Moroka Swallows, it means I have to bring some attraction. There's value that you bring. Could I have invited Jali because he says, okay, I worked with this guy, I understand this guy, whether it was national team, whatever. He comes and the club obliges because, okay, we can afford this and not a perfect. Mhango, perfect. Zuma, perfect. Who else? Perfect. And then you find others you've worked with. Makubela, you can, Jali, I worked with at Aros. Palani as well. Maybe then it says to me, I'm a dinosaur in the PSL. I've worked with everybody, so wherever I go, I come across people I've worked with, even coaches for that matter. I think I've been long in the PSL. And some of these folks, I work with at junior level. There's players, Lee Langenfeld from Stellenbosch. I worked with Lee at under 23, up until the E2s. Look how old they are. That's how far I come in the league and even in the game in South Africa. But one has to still respect the game. And every time you have an encounter with them, yourselves included, always maintain a higher level of respect and recognition of people.
Coach, amongst the signings that you've had this season is Sibia. Will you please give us an insight?
Yeah, idlozi lele. Uzozontshela what is idlozi, those who don't understand idlozi. You know what happened with Uvus? We were looking for a center back. We had been checking and checking and checking. And then Coach Musanya Tama says, hey man, kuna lomfana who was at Stellenbosch, Uvusi Sibia. And I remember this guy vividly. I said, no man, I remember when you played them, I was still at Sundowns. This guy was there. But he says, no, he's available. I said, available? How come? I couldn't understand. And then I said, Coach Mlet, bring him, let him come train with us. Uvusi comes, he trains with us. I can't believe my eyes, man. We play a rondo, he comes out, he's confident, technique. This guy is even intelligent, he talks, got personality, he's got physique, and I'm going away. What happened with this guy? And then I go to Coach Musa. Coach, don't know what's happening, guy. Now, I don't want to ask him directly now. How did you come out? I don't know how he came out from Stellies, but I must thank Stevie, my namesake, for letting this guy out because he's a left-footed centre back. He's good in there, compose on the ball, can build from the back. He can charge like any other person. There's areas that he can improve. But Uvus was just jackpot, and he fits. Then we played him against Mamelodi Sundowns, first match in the MTN 8. The guy plays well. I'm saying, nobody knows how it came about. But sometimes, as we always say, the energies that you connect with, depending how you connect with them, if you connect with energies the right way, they will reward you the right way. Thank you very much. Happy birthday, Happy birthday, Kukoko.